You could tell he was nervous, and he said it in the courtroom. He had asked to go to the bathroom. He was like, "Excuse me, Judge, I'm a little bit nervous."
During a recent court session in Sean Diddy Combs' ongoing trial, an unexpected moment stirred tension in the room. According to reports, Diddy was briefly excused to use the restroom, but what happened after his return left the judge visibly frustrated. While details remain unclear, the incident reportedly caused a noticeable disruption in the courtroom. Between whispers of leaked footage and unusual behavior, insiders are calling this one of Diddy's most embarrassing moments yet. Eyewitnesses, including The Breakfast Club's Lauren LaRosa, who was present in the courtroom, noted a major shift in Diddy's demeanor. Once known for his confident presence and untouchable image, the music mogul appeared visibly rattled, far from the powerhouse figure he once projected. As the trial moves forward, moments like this are painting a much different picture of the former industry titan. Observers in the courtroom couldn't help but notice a stark change in Sean Diddy Combs' appearance and demeanor. He looked noticeably thinner, his usually jet black hair.
You could tell he was nervous, and he said it in the courtroom. He had asked to go to the bathroom. He was like, "Excuse me, Judge, I'm a little bit nervous."
Streaked with gray, and his face appeared pale, like the weight of the trial had aged him overnight. At one point, visibly nervous, Diddy addressed the judge with a quiet, "Excuse me, Your Honor? I'm a little nervous," his hands reportedly trembling. It was a surreal moment for someone once known for commanding rooms with confidence and arriving late flanked by an entourage. Now, even asking to step away briefly seemed like a humbling experience. But make no mistake, Diddy isn't completely checked out. The Breakfast Club's Lauren LaRosa noted that he came to court fully prepared, reviewing documents, scrolling through his tablet, and closely analyzing potential jurors, signs that he's still deeply engaged in the battle ahead. Sean Diddy Combs is clearly aware of the stakes. He's fighting for his freedom and staying locked into every moment of the legal process. The intensity ramped up during jury selection, which began on May 5th, 2025, at the federal...
LaRosa peeped that he showed up strapped with mad paperwork, was all over his tablet, and was keeping his eyes glued to every potential juror's profile.
But you could tell at one point in time I saw, and I was watching him very closely, I saw like his hand shaking a bit, but very involved. He's fighting for his life, literally. Like, I mean, he came with like a case of paperwork. He was on the tablet sitting next to Brian Steele. He's reading every juror profile as things are happening.
House in Lower Manhattan. But from the start, it's been anything but smooth. Finding unbiased jurors who haven't already formed an opinion about Diddy has proven incredibly difficult. Things took a turn when one potential juror revealed they currently work at MDC Brooklyn, the same detention center where Diddy has been held since September 2024. That revelation caused serious concern in the courtroom, with the judge sternly reminding both legal teams of the importance of a fair trial, saying, "These are serious accusations. We can't afford to let anything slip." The complications didn't stop there. Another juror admitted they'd seen the widely circulated video of Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie. While the juror claimed they could remain impartial, Diddy's legal team quickly objected, leading to their dismissal. It's a clear sign of the uphill battle ahead. In an era of viral clips and nonstop headlines, finding truly neutral jurors is proving nearly impossible. Sources close to the case say the judge is determined to keep this trial on a tight schedule, with no interest in letting it drag out like a drawn-out docuseries. The court expects proceedings to run for 8 to 10 weeks, starting with full days from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., eventually shifting to shorter days ending at 3 p.m. With the clock ticking, pressure...
Have a pool of 43 jurors, men and women. They have to narrow that down to 12 definite jurors and 6 alternates. So the judge agreed. He said, "You know what? You're right. I agree. Let's wait until right before opening statements. We'll choose a jury, and then boom, we'll swear them in. We'll go right into the actual opening statements from prosecutors and the defense."
So they're expecting this to be a speedy trial then?
The judge has been very, very adamant about wanting to stick to schedule.
Sides. For Sean Diddy Combs, the stakes are as high as they get. He's facing 5 major federal charges, including a racketeering conspiracy charge that could carry a life sentence, 2 sex trafficking counts with mandatory minimums of 15 years each, and 2 additional charges for transporting individuals for prostitution, each carrying up to 10 years. These charges stem from decades of alleged misconduct, painting a disturbing picture of abuse, control, and exploitation. Despite the weight of the accusations and evidence, Diddy reportedly rejected a plea deal from federal prosecutors, opting to take his chances in court. His legal team, Mark Agnifilo, Tenny Garagos, and recent high-profile addition Brian Steele, is arguing that all interactions were consensual and part of a so-called lifestyle. But not everyone is convinced that was a wise move. Former bodyguard Gene Deal, who once worked security for Diddy, has publicly said that rejecting the plea was a major gamble. If he thinks he's beating the federal government, he's out of his mind, Deal stated bluntly, adding that Diddy may regret passing on a deal that would have seen him serve 10 to 15 years instead of potentially life behind bars. It may seem like a minor moment in the middle of a major legal storm, but Diddy's recent request to use the bathroom during court tells a much bigger story. Once known for controlling the narrative, he's now in a position where even simple freedoms come with conditions. That moment wasn't just about urgency, it symbolized a dramatic fall from power. Behind the headlines and legal terms are real lives being affected, and Diddy's public court appearance made one thing very clear: no amount of fame can shield you from accountability.
But long story short is that he need to take his counsel advice, because if he think he's going to get out of this from the federal government, he out his mind. They in the process of plea bargaining, trying to do a plea bargain session with him, and he not taking it.
Troubles didn't begin there. They've been building for months. Let's rewind. Everything began to spiral in November 2023 when singer and former partner Cassandra Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit that shocked the entertainment world. She accused Diddy of serious misconduct during their relationship, which spanned from 2007 to 2018. Her claims included emotional and physical abuse and other deeply troubling behavior. The lawsuit was settled quietly just one day after it was filed, leaving the public with more questions than answers. But that wasn't the end. It was the spark. Following Cassie's case, over 24 others stepped forward with similar allegations, painting a pattern of disturbing conduct that stretched back decades. Allegations ranged from harassment and abuse to coercion, with some dating back to the 1990s. The real shift came on March 25, 2024. Federal agents, including Homeland Security, carried out simultaneous raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. This wasn't routine, it was serious. Authorities seized electronic devices, phones, and hard drives, while news helicopters captured the dramatic scene from above. Among the more bizarre details reportedly uncovered during the raids were large quantities of personal products and security footage. Federal investigators later suggested these might be linked to private gatherings that are now under scrutiny as part of the broader investigation. Additionally, authorities allegedly recovered high-powered firearms and large ammunition clips, which led to potential weapons charges being added. Then came the bombshell indictment. Unsealed documents accused Diddy of leading a criminal operation stretching back to 2008. Charges included sex trafficking, obstruction of justice, coercion, and more. The indictment alleged that Diddy used staff and business partners to help coordinate, conceal, and carry out illicit activities. Diddy entered a not guilty plea on September 17, 2024. Despite his legal team's push for bail, backed by a multi-million-dollar bond offer, the judge ruled against it, citing him as a flight risk. He's remained in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn ever since. The public reaction? Explosive. As soon as the news broke, social media lit up. Reactions ranged from disbelief to validation, with many saying they had suspected something was off for years. The story became a nationwide conversation, in group chats, on podcasts, and at barbershops and beauty salons across the country. Even celebrity reactions spoke volumes. Many former collaborators and industry peers stayed silent or quickly distanced themselves. 50 Cent, who had a long-standing feud with Diddy, had already told The Hollywood Reporter back in July 2024 that he avoided attending Diddy's events due to discomfort with rumors he'd heard. After the arrest, an uneasy vibe took over, with many wondering if some people stayed silent because of secret recordings. 50 Cent didn't hold back. He went full savage on social media, turning Diddy's troubles into promotion for his own upcoming projects. Long before all this blew up, comedian Cat Williams seemed to have a crystal ball. Back in January 2024, He openly admitted on a podcast that he turned down invites to Diddy's parties to protect his reputation. He even predicted that people like Diddy, with questionable reputations, would face serious consequences in 2024. When the arrest happened, fans quickly revisited that interview and gave Williams credit for speaking the truth when no one else dared. The biggest blow to Diddy's reputation came in May 2024 when surveillance footage leaked. The video, obtained by CNN, showed Diddy physically assaulting Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway back in 2016. It showed him grabbing, pushing, dragging, and even kicking her, confirming her earlier claims of abuse. The footage sparked widespread outrage and forced Diddy to issue a public apology on May 19, 2024, finally accepting full responsibility for his actions. The fallout was swift and harsh. Institutions and companies began cutting ties at lightning speed. Howard University rescinded Diddy's honorary doctorate and returned his $1 million donation in June 2024, completely canceling his pledge. New York City took back the...
got pictures. I still got everything in my Snap, too, like of the photos, everything. That's all you could get. So I'm walking around or whatever, so one of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house, because the freak off is inside the house and in the backyard.
One woman named Tanya came forward with some shocking details about what she called a freak-off at Diddy's Miami residence. She painted a vivid picture of a wild early morning scene where guests were reportedly walking around completely naked, with alcohol flowing freely and phones strictly controlled. According to Tanya, one of Diddy's sons was personally selecting certain people to enter the main house, where even more explicit activities were allegedly taking place. What really stands out in Tanya's story is the level of security involved. She explained that security guards patted down everyone and confiscated their phones, placing them in special sealed bubble cases that couldn't be opened until guests left the premises. This tight control matches prosecutors' claims that the parties were run with careful measures to keep everything hidden from the public eye. But not everyone's experience was the same. In a May 2024 interview on Club Shay Shay, Amber Rose said she had attended nearly every Puff Daddy and white party since 2009 and never witnessed anything like these so-called freak-offs. She suggested that if such events did happen, they might have occurred separately from the official parties. Amber added, "Every time I was there, Puff was there the whole time. He's always on the DJ booth hosting the party." Clip 7. The arrest also brought renewed focus to some old interviews with Diddy that now feel especially unsettling. In a resurfaced 2002 interview, he made a controversial joke about locking women in at his parties. He said, "You need locks on the doors," explaining that he kept his parties warm because the heat affects the alcohol, and as he put it, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Looking back, those comments take on a whole new meaning in light of the serious allegations now surrounding him. Clip 8. A 2016 interview with Usher has been making rounds again. The R&B superstar, who lived with Diddy as a teenager during what was called Puffy Flavor Camp, described the experience as pretty wild and said he saw some strange things. When asked if he would ever let his own child go through something similar, Usher didn't hesitate. He said, "Hell no." But how did Sean Combs, once the ultimate success story in music, end up facing charges that could keep him behind bars for life? To understand, we need to look back at his rise to the top, the allegations that have dogged him for years, and how quickly his fall from grace unfolded. At his peak, Diddy wasn't just a rapper, he was a powerhouse entrepreneur. Unlike many of his peers, he expanded far beyond music.
Now, I'd already told you guys that from what I was told, Cassie did not want to testify. Victim 3, as we know, as of today, still does not want to testify and is telling them she does not plan on coming to court. There is now a Victim 5. I know Puff's team was trying to keep Victim 5 out of the conversation or whatever, but Victim 5, if Victim 5 does testify, will testify with she's not going to be able to hide her identity.
His Sean John clothing line, launched in 1998, wasn't just swag. It snagged Menswear Designer of the Year in 2004.
Now, I'd already told you guys that from what I was told, Cassie did not want to testify. Victim 3, as we know, as of today, still does not want to testify and is telling them she does not plan on coming to court. There is now a Victim 5. I know Puff's team was trying to keep Victim 5 out of the conversation or whatever, but Victim 5, if Victim 5 does testify, will testify with she's not going to be able to hide her identity.
LaRosa peeped that he showed up strapped with mad paperwork, was all over his tablet, and was keeping his eyes glued to every potential juror's profile.
But you could tell at one point in time I saw, and I was watching him very closely, I saw like his hands shaking a bit, but very involved. He's fighting for his life, literally. Like, I mean, he came with like a case of paperwork. He was on the tablet sitting next to Brian Steele. He's reading every juror profile as things are happening.
Got pictures. I still got everything in my Snap too, like of the photos, everything. That's all you could get. So I'm walking around or whatever. So one of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house, because the freak off is inside the house and in the backyard.
LaRosa peeped that he showed up strapped with mad paperwork, was all over his tablet, and was keeping his eyes glued to every potential juror's profile.
But you could tell at one point in time I saw, and I was watching him very closely, I saw like his hands shaking a bit, but very involved. He's fighting for his life, literally. Like, I mean, he came with like a case of paperwork. He was on the tablet sitting next to Brian Steele. He's reading every juror profile as things are happening.